chat is working for Twitch, but not for YouTube for some reason. How is it miscalibrated there? All right, well, anyway, I might have to live with that. Hey everyone. It's been, I think, like 2 years since I did a music stream, which is insane to me. I can't believe how fast the time goes. So, yeah, I just wanted to, I'm going to start doing a regular, I guess I will talk to the camera here. I'm going to start doing a regular streaming cadence. Right now it's looking like DIY streams, which is a separate channel, on Mondays, music stream on Wednesdays, and then like digital art / painting stream on Fridays, again, separate channel. I'm just kind of playing with different setups to figure out what works in terms of that. So, you know, we'll always be curious to hear your thoughts, see what you think works and such. Also times. Lately I've been starting the streams around noon. It's actually a little later than I would prefer to do, but then I'm not sure where the sweet spot is for Europe and US and all that sort of stuff. So I'll have to figure that out as we go. For today, I have a composition that I started as part of Jamuary, and this is one little piece of it that's looping right now, but I wanted to just take it a little further, and I thought I could let everyone in on the composition process here. It does look like we only have chat synced properly to Twitch right now. I am multi-streaming, so I'm going out to YouTube and Twitch at the same time. Looks like there's some configuration I still have to sort out there. I'm still kind of figuring Restream out. With services like that, I mean, they're simple on the surface, and I have a tendency to just kind of dive in. I'll just configure everything and be like, okay, good enough, and then I run. And you know, I don't necessarily dig into all the details right away until I start hitting problems. So this is an example of a problem that I'm gonna have to figure out what the problem is. I think it might be that I have the events kind of misconfigured the way I'm using them. So what I started doing, and this might be too inside baseball, I don't know if it's interesting or not, but on the Restream setup, I kind of just set up one event and then have been changing its configuration depending on which channels I want to stream to and stuff. And I'm thinking that's probably not the way I want to go, and I need more like templates in OBS that are configured for each event, so on and so forth. And I think that's the problem right now, is I think that the chat currently is set up from a prior stream, and I don't think it's configured properly for my main YouTube channel, but I'm not sure because I thought it was working previously, so might have to just figure it out. It might be a permissions thing too. So I'm not going to worry about it right now because I don't want to delay the stream further. I was originally trying to go live at like 10 a.m. Eastern time, and we're closer to noon now, so about quarter of at the moment. And I just kind of went live. I am going to have a more set schedule in the future, but for now I'm just kind of running with it and making sure it happens on the days that I'm saying it's happening, roughly in the window that I'm saying it's happening, because I just keep running into lots of little configuration things that send me down rabbit holes for periods of time, and then I'm delayed and all that sort of stuff. So the way I'm set up today, we've got, you know, this main camera. I have the desk cam, so if I want to show you what I'm doing with the Cirklon as best I can. I mean, I'm not super zoomed in, but I know that, you know, the screen is legible if you don't mind squinting a little bit. And then we have the other side of the room over there with the synths and everything. Now this is what you're hearing right now. So basically there's only a couple tracks playing at the moment. What we have right now, and maybe I should kind of show you what I'm doing here. So what we have right now is the Polybrute is that sort of sawtooth bass thing that's happening. We've got the Stata Rhythm SR 909. That's a kit that I built. It's mostly functional. It has the ride cymbal's weird, and one of the toms gets flaky occasionally, but it's all right. I think there were some issues with a couple of the traces on the board. I don't know if I burned a trace and it's not visible that I did that, or if it's a different problem. But yeah, it's got some things that I thought I had fixed, and then like the ride cymbal thing though, there's a voltage that's leaking that is causing the sample rate to be wrong in a strange way, where yeah, it ends up having this pulsing effect to the way the sample plays, and that one I have not fully fully figured out yet, because all the components in the circuit are working as expected. It seems to be somewhere in the traces, and there's no like weird bridge solder joints or anything like that. So getting a message that the encoding is overloaded. I wonder if that's because I'm running at 4K. Okay. I'm gonna have to figure that out, I guess. It's like we're dropping about 50% of the frames. I don't know what's happening here. Not good. Okay, well, so this might be a strange choppy stream. What's wrong with our bandwidth right now? That's weird. There shouldn't be anything going on the network. Well, anyway. And then I believe, let me look at the pattern here. Okay, so no. Yeah, so it's just, we're just right now hearing the Polybrute and the SR 909. Or I'll just call it the 909 from now on, but just know that it is not a genuine 909. So I will start by playing through this here, and yeah, I'll probably get a little bit quiet once I get into composition mode, because I'll speak through what I'm thinking and doing, but I tend to do a lot of listening in my composition process. So, all right, so if we go back to the song mode here, I'm going to stop this and we're going to start it from the beginning. And so what you're going to hear with this is that there's actually two different concepts that are kind of stuck together in the same song right now. And so part of this is going to be figuring out if they can relate to each other as different sections, or if they are just going to, if I'm just going to have to pick one to roll with. So these are the two things. Obviously, you've been hearing this. So this runs for 8 bars. And then we have... And that's also the Polybrute that you're hearing. Okay, so now that's the ARP Odyssey, which is on the wall back there. There it is. My head's in the way of it in this shot. But... So the bass is the Odyssey. So now this is the Odyssey and the Polybrute kind of commingled. So this is the second idea, and this is the thing that I started. So it's in a different key. Now, so now that's the matriarch. So this is the Odyssey and the matriarch that are working together right now. And now that's the polyphony again. But now the polybrood, this thing's pretty full because the polybrood has a bass line going and like that's doubling what the Odyssey's doing, and then it also has the melody work. And then the Tempest comes in there with those sort of big toms. And so that's it. Like at this point, this would just loop forever on this scene. So that's the concept, or those are the two concepts. A lot of times what I'll do in situations like this is, I'm going to back up a little bit here. And you know what? Let's go ahead and not that one. This guy. Oh. Are we frozen on that? What happened to that camera? Huh. Is everything else? Oh, weird. Okay. We have got some frozen cameras. It looks like something happened with my other capture card, perhaps. That's a little strange. Let me... Well, this is fun. Don't you just love a technical problem? I swear, maybe I try to do these things in too complicated a way. Like, I don't know why this is frozen here. We're probably going to lose audio for a second when I do this, so let me actually switch over to the camera that is working so that you don't feel like you're just on a frozen stream. So the audio is actually also running through this configuration that I'm about to pull, so I might just ruin everything here when I do this, but other than going offline and reworking some things and then coming back, I'm not sure how else to approach this. So I'm just gonna see if I can fix this real time and see if we can get OBS cooperating. So that seems to have stalled all the things. Okay. No? Okay, there we go. So we've got audio back. Yeah, sorry about that. Let's see if we have... All right. Okay, we're working again. So something happened with my capture card. It seems like it crashed. That's not great. I did get a message that said basically I was like overloading the stream. I don't know if it was due to the resolution that I'm running at or what. Okay, everything seems to be working. That's good. So, back to this. Yeah, sorry about that. Sometimes I think my setups are too complicated for my own good. So I have this controller under here, and this is, let's see what happened here. Why is the Cirklon all wonky? There we go. So that's the Odyssey. So the way, for those of you not familiar with the Cirklon, or just to explain the way I have things set up here, basically the Cirklon can have a bunch of different instrument definitions. And so essentially, I've got this wall of synthesizers over here. Now, the ARP on the back table there, that's not active at the moment. That's not part of this. So the way I tend to work these days, for any of you who have been on one of these streams before and have seen the previous setups, what you would have seen essentially is essentially the whole room was a connected, just everything in the room. It was walls of synthesizers essentially, and just everything was connected back down to the Cirklon through the Conductive Labs MRCC and a bunch of like splitters and so there were several 8-channel MIDI splitters, and but basically the 5 channels of the Cirklon that it can output routed to the MRCC, and then the MRCC then routed that all to the rest of the room, and that worked great. And one of the things I'm realizing that I miss about that with the way I'm doing things now is that, you know, I could pull up any song in the Cirklon and everything was just already configured. It was just a matter of patching the right synth in and finding the right patch or settings on that synth to be able to just get back to, like, recall that whole track essentially. What I've moved to now instead of that is these like smaller kind of focused setups. I've been calling this one the finishing rig because it's meant as like sort of my core sounds that I'm using to, like, when I have a half-finished idea like I have here. Now in this case, this one was composed originally using this setup, but the way I'm approaching this is it's pretty static. I've chosen these synthesizers. You can see in the back there's a whole wall rack of additional synths and stuff, and then I have space over at the house that I call Studio B, where there's a bunch of other synths set up and whatnot. But for the purpose of this, this rig is intended to be kind of the main rig for composition and for taking partial ideas and fleshing them out into a full composition, so that everything kind of has a consistent sound for a while. And so, because, you know, my stuff will always sound like my stuff through a different lens depending on the gear that I'm working with, but the gear does impact that a fair bit. So to keep sort of a consistent tone for a while, get a bunch of pieces built up that all are cohesive and can kind of live together on an album and stuff, that's the way I'm approaching that at this point, because things otherwise will vary quite a bit depending on the synthesizers that I've chosen to work with. But so what was happening though when this was just a giant room of synths and and everything was stacked to the ceiling essentially, was that it was oftentimes difficult to just feel connected to the hardware when I was working with it. What I found I was doing a lot was just like taking a synth, setting it to a patch that I had created previously at some point when I was spending time with it, like in a different setting where it was just the only thing I was working with. Because I'll have like sound design sessions where I'll just take a synth and I'll just play and just build patches. But I wasn't doing a ton of that, and I wasn't really doing that much at all when the synths were kind of like stacked to the ceiling and sort of inaccessible. And so I was kind of in this patch rut where like there was each synth had a certain number of sounds that I had built on it, and I would just always return to those and then compose with those. And so I wasn't getting more familiar with the hardware past whatever initial learning I had done with it. So, I wasn't getting more in depth with any of the stuff, and I wasn't really, I wasn't getting as deep into each of the synths and like really learning their kind of personality as I wanted to be. So that's the reason why that's all gone and things are shelved and then like brought out for focus for a while. So the idea here is to keep this set up for like a year, but turns out a year goes real fast because I've already had this set up this way for probably 6 months or something, and I haven't done as much in depth with it as I would have expected given the amount of time that's passed. So, it's always in a sort of an evolving experiment. But so I am working on some YouTube content. I do have a video coming. It was supposed to be out at the end of last month, but I didn't finish the edits in time because I kept finding like I wanted new bits of B-roll and stuff that I had to keep filming and things. But I do have a YouTube video that's about to drop that will kind of catch up the studio configuration and everything from where it was last time I was doing all this stuff, because there have been a lot of changes and a lot of advancements and a lot of learnings. And so I had started that studio series on as a YouTube series, and then I just kind of dropped the ball on it and didn't really. Sorry, I wanted something more than just my talking here. So I figured I'd put the matriarch in there a little bit because it has that nice. The delay sounds really nice in this patch, I think. But anyway, so yeah, I started that studio series, and then I just kind of like life happened and I bailed, and so I have a video that I'm about to put out that kind of catches everything up and explains the interim in a brief way, and should hopefully get us back up to the present. Because there have been some life changes for me, and I have more time to dedicate to this stuff now, so I am going to be doing that. And I'll get into that at some point as well, but right now I want to just focus on some composition. So anyway, so I'm kind of working with the studio a bit differently than I have in the past, and a lot of times when I sit down in a process like this, before I dig back into the material that was already existing, and if we bring these other tracks in, we have that. I just wanted to bring the overall levels down a little bit so it's not blasting me out while I'm talking. No, a little more than that even. There we go. So what I'll do a lot of times before I jump in and start trying to figure out more, what I will sometimes do is just start with a new scene. So so I'm going to go ahead and recall the work scene here. Let's see what that sounds like. Okay, so that's almost exactly what we were working with. So what I'll do sometimes, and it's just to kind of get myself in the space, but also because a lot of times when I return to pieces like this, they'll go in a different direction, basically. So what I'll do a lot of times is I'll just start with some empty patterns and essentially start just working out. What is it? Sorry, I just keep hearing, oh, it's the cord for, yeah, it's rubbing on my, I think I'm going to take this jacket off because it's just causing noises. I keep the studio pretty cold. It's like in the low 60s. But the modular and stuff heats it up, so. But anyway, what I was saying is a lot of times I'll just start kind of fresh. Here, I'll switch over to, not that guy, this guy. So what I'm doing here is I'm just creating blank patterns for each of the tracks. Because what will happen a lot of times is when I sit down newly to something, like there's 5 tracks here. So we have the polybrute, I am not the world's greatest keyboardist, but it is still my preferred input method. It feels the most natural for me. And yeah, this is how I work. Everything is played in real time. Occasionally I'll fix some things after the fact, but yeah. So all right, so now we have new blank patterns for each of the channels. So we've got the polybrute, we've got the 909, we have the Odyssey, and then we've got the Matriarch, which has a lengthy delay on it right now. And then we have the Tempest, which has a bunch of weird sounds in there right now. Oh dear. So it would seem that the Tempest is layering with the 909 for some reason. I think I ran into this before and I thought I fixed it, but it seems we're back to that. Let me see. I think the problem is that the 909 keeps reverting its MIDI channel. So let me just check real quick. Let's see here's the 909. Which channel should that be on? That is supposed to be channel 16. Right, and the Tempest is 14 and 15. So that it's got to be, yeah, something's wrong. It must be on Omni or something. So, now the trick is I have to remember, I think it's something simple. Yeah. Okay. I think that does it. I might have to. Worst case scenario, I might have to pull out the manual to remember how to set the MIDI channel in there because I always forget. But let's see. Okay, that's alright, but now if we go back to the Tempest. Yeah. Okay, good. I did remember. Hooray! Because it's weird. You have to press the shuffle/flam button and then the corresponding key to the MIDI channel that you want. I have to double check and make sure I installed the battery in there. I'm pretty sure I did, so I don't know why it's not maintaining that between power cycles. Because I remember, I think I have to change it every single time, and that shouldn't be the case, I don't think. But so anyway, we have the Tempest with these pretty strange sounds on here. I think this was actually, I've been meaning to like spend some sound design time with the Tempest because in it, like, this is just how it recalls every time I power it up. It's kind of like the state I left it in, and I'm pretty sure what this is one of the factory kits with like 6 of the sounds modified. Like, I know that one. I know for a fact because I remember building that weird sort of farty bass drum, which is interesting for effect depending on how you use it. But yeah. So there's, it's weird. Anyway, so back to what I was saying is a lot of times I'll just compose something that's fresh for that session to start, and then start working backwards into the existing material. Oh, see, there's that. Now that's a new behavior that tom has not hear how the pitch is warbling around there? That's bizarre. So this is the 909 right now. So depending on yeah, that tom's still funky. I'm gonna have to open that thing back up and work on it again. Because I had discovered that there was a transistor that wasn't outputting as expected, and I replaced it, and that fixed the problem initially, but now I'm thinking that there's something wider because it's kind of returning. Because what happened originally when I built it and I was first testing it, that tom was intermittent. It would sometimes just be the attack, it would just be a click, and then other times it would have the body, but that warbly tone of it is new. So now the pitch tracking is doing something weird. Yeah, well, you know, can't win them all, I guess. That drum machine was the most complicated project I had built at the time, so I was just happy it all worked, but it didn't work as well as I would have liked, I guess. Because I'm used to actually, I've been pretty spoiled. A lot of times my DIY projects, like, I'll just build it and I won't worry too much. Like, I'm just careful when I'm soldering. I'm very methodical with my soldering and stuff, and I'll just kind of go through the whole thing, and it just works. And I don't have anything to troubleshoot. It just works as expected. But those are smaller circuits. They're, you know, it's modules and things. So it's a little different when it's something as complicated as, you know, I don't know how many voices that thing has, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 drum voices plus the accent circuitry and like the step sequence, all the things. Like it, that was a complicated build and a very dense board, and a redrawn circuit board from the original. So, but still like expecting the use of the original documents for troubleshooting and stuff. So that was sometimes tricky because it would be like, okay, this is different than how the original did it in terms of where things are placed and stuff and the layout. But I need to be cross-referencing them. So anyway, yeah. So let's just. I might just start with something dumb. I don't know if it'll be any good. But change the here. I'll switch so you can see what I'm doing. I need another Stream Deck. I have a Stream Deck in the other room because the idea originally was that I would be working like that would kind of be the epicenter for streaming and stuff. So it's connected to what. Like right now, this whole stream's running off my laptop. I usually run the streams off of my older iMac Pro, but it handles it great. But yeah, so I don't really have a good switching mechanism. I have a pedal, like a Stream Deck. I don't even remember what they call it, but it's the 3 pedal foot switch, which is good for, doing the same kind of thing, like switching between 3 views. I have 4 cameras in here at the moment, but, But anyway, so I'm going to extend. We'll go with 8 bars, I guess. There's probably better ways to do this, but sometimes what I'll do is I'll just get like one hit in just to kind of establish the note for a certain. Now, I've been meaning, because what you can do with the instrument definitions in the Cirklon is you can, for something like a drum machine that has specific notes attributed to specific drums, you can actually set up the instrument definition so those are just kind of hard-coded and they're just always the notes that are available for working with in patterns. And that way you don't even, like a normal CK pattern in the Cirklon, because it has 2 different types of patterns, and it has P3 patterns and CK patterns. And a normal CK pattern will start out just blank, and as you play notes, because it's just an event stream essentially, it will start to add those notes, to the available register of the pattern. So one of these days, because I keep meaning to do it and keep forgetting to, I will go in and adjust the instrument definition for the 909 so that it has the drums established as part of the instrument definition, and then those are the only notes available, and you can't transpose and all that sort of thing. I have transposition off anyway, but yeah. So in this case, it's G flat 3 for the hi-hat, and then if I can just go in and start putting some steps in just so I have kind of a metronome to work with. And I think there's better ways to do this too. Like, I'm not a Cirklon power user. I'm realizing as I go through life, especially with deep devices like this, I have a tendency to just brute force things and like learn to the point of good enough, and then at some point I'll usually, like, once I use a device enough, I'll get frustrated with that sort of cursory level, and then I'll do a deep dive, and at that point I become an expert on the thing. But it takes me a while to get to that point, and the interim stage is very much just, kind of just make do. All right, so we have sort of a metronome to work off of. So So I just want to think about like what kind of beat I'm trying to do here. That feels good. Let's improvise a bit around that. Once it rolls back around here. Okay, so now we have that. And I mean that was pretty on point, but I might quantize it just because. All right, that's something to start with. All right, so let's just start seeing then. Let's go to a lot of times I'm pretty standard. I mean, I spent a lot of years as a bassist, so I start in the rhythm section with almost all the time. Like almost with every one of my tracks, I kind of start with the rhythm section. It's not always the case, but I do it a lot. Now, one of the issues that sometimes happens, like, so I didn't mention earlier, but those two different sections of the piece that exists in here that we're working off of, those actually were both based on different settings on the Odyssey, and the Odyssey's all manual in terms of its control, so I can't just, you know, hit a patch recall button and get it all back. So, and what I'm noticing is, like, for this now, I want something a little bit more mellow, a little less buzzy, and I don't love that tone, so I might end up changing it again, and then the question is it going to work as well with the pre-existing elements? So what might end up happening here is I might just take the stuff that was there and move on from it and just kind of, you know, use it as the stepping off point. But what am I thinking? So what I will often do in a case like this is I'll come up with some sort of just like quick bass line just to have something running, and then from there I'll go over to the synth and I'll start making adjustments to the timbre and stuff, and just kind of get it in line with what I'm picturing. Something like that, maybe. I don't know. Something sparse. Let's see. We'll do 16 bars. That's what I meant to play there. Something like that. Okay, let's record that and see what we can do here. Oops. Okay. I lost my hand position for a second, so I wanted to make sure I wasn't going to play bum notes immediately. Well, alright. Quantize that just to see how it cleans it up. Alright. So now that we have that, and I might keep it, I might not, but let's get over to the synth now. Actually, I'm gonna move this because it's kind of just in the way at the moment. This is my music stand that I use for like reading manuals and things. Put that there. Okay. All right, let's see. This might just be change to the filter. Now what I'm noticing okay, so yeah, that's kind of more what I had in mind. Just I wonder. So I turned up the sample and hold to affect the filter frequency just to see how that's going to sound. Kind of interesting to get that variation in there. I also had the noise pretty high in the mix, but it does, I think I like it better than without. It's a little too much. I like it. Okay. Well, I'm gonna. Yeah. I think I'm gonna go with that for now. I might bring it up a little bit more in the mix as I awkwardly step my stool back over. I don't want to overdo it. Okay. All right. So I'm feeling like the thing that's going to complement this the best out of what I have set up is probably going to be the matriarch. Might want this more mellow too. Might want to pull that filter down a little bit. Keep coming in late. So I might actually just kind of make a pretty long pattern here. So we're gonna take the last step. Let's just say I'm gonna go all the way out to 32 bars. And then I might just improvise for a little bit. Really where I wanted to start. This is where not being the greatest keyboard player comes in, because I end up like having something that I'm playing that I enjoy, but I'm not thinking of the actual notes that I'm playing. I'm just like hearing it and kind of working with shapes. And then I go and hit record or something. I come back and my hands land in different places, and I end up playing. I realize where I'm at compared to where I was, but I try to make it work. But just starting on sort of the wrong note puts it all off to begin with. But that was pretty late in the pattern, so that doesn't necessarily have to be a problem. I stopped recording for a bit because I just wanted to get my bearings again. we'll start with that. The stuff I was playing before I recorded, I was actually happier with than what I ended up improvising there, but this is my weekly espresso at this point. I have become so caffeine sensitive. I just can't have it. So, cheers. Cheers to my weekly espresso. All right, so what I'm thinking I want to do here is I think I want to bring the guitar rig in and just play around. Now, this stuff, this is all going to be kind of temporary. There's nothing I do on this can really be stored in the Cirklon in any way right now. What I can do is I can record and store loops in the RC300 that's on the floor there. But that's all. That's all I have the ability to do right now. So we're gonna have these sort of unwieldy headphones and cable, but whoops. Tune real quick. Should be mentioned probably that I try not to do, like, for something with like the Odyssey where the tuning is whatever you set it to, like, you know, so a reference C on there isn't necessarily going to be C, and I tune that thing by ear a lot of times, because a lot of times I'll have FM in place and that'll kind of shift where the actual perceived tone is. But I do try to keep everything to sort of concert pitch so that things like guitar, if I bring it in, will work, because they won't necessarily otherwise. So let's just see what we got here. Whoa, that's very loud. Hang on. Okay. Might need to sort out the strap situation. It's kind of in the way. Oh, there we go. That's better. Drive there, that was unintentional, but I will say it does sound like we're in tune with the synths. There's like, I got a few too many layers of delay going on here, though, I think. Yeah, so I turned off the Memory Man. I love that pedal, but it was a little bit too much for the moment, along with, because like, so the, I don't really have a camera setup where you could see this too well, but I basically have a pedal board at my feet that is the initial input stage for everything, and this is dynamic effects and EQ and things, so like compression, EQ, distortion. Then that all runs to the input of a small modular rig here that has a foot pedal that controls a looper, a 2-channel looper if I want to split the channels. Right now it's just acting in stereo. And there's actually 2 loopers in here. There's the 2HP loop, which is a much simpler mono looper, and then there's the Instro looper. It's, I probably shouldn't even try to pronounce it. Looper. We'll just call it looper. And then from there, that runs into a whole series of effects, and then into another looper so that I can capture loops that have the effects baked in if I want, and also so that I can do things like play a bass line, capture that as a loop, then switch out the guitars, and then play on top of that, and then take the guitar or something, capture that as a loop, things like that. Whereas if I am just using the loopers in the modular here to capture that stuff, I'm stuck with, because the effects, like all the reverbs and thing, are end of chain. So if I capture a bass line as a loop in there, then it's going to be processed through whatever the end of chain processing is here, and that can not be desirable if I want just like a punchy bass up front without a bunch of delay on it and stuff. So that's the reason for the setup. So it's dynamic controls into a small Eurorack setup for looping and things, and then that goes out to first Zoya, which is disengaged right now. That goes to a Maris Enzo X, which is also disengaged right now. Then to an LVX, the same, Maris again, LVX, also disengaged. Eventide H90, also disengaged. Maris Mercury X for reverb, which is engaged right now. Then that runs into a second stage of delay with the Memory Man, and potentially looping, because it's the Memory Man with Hazarai, which I seem to recall translates to just like with stuff, like with extra stuff, which I kind of love. I love this pedal, but and then that, just to be weird, runs to a Stretch Weaver, and then that's out to the board from there. So that's the setup. It's a lot, but I can get some really interesting stuff going, some very complicated layered delays and things. So I enjoy that a lot. But so right now what we're listening to is there's a volume pedal, which is the first stage. And then that moves into, well, it splits out to a polytune just so I have a way to tune easily without affecting the signal and stuff. But the line, the actual signal out from the volume pedal that isn't to the tuner goes out to the Abasi microaggressor, which then runs to the Pathos. And from there, I actually forget the signal chain. I think from there it goes into the MXR EQ. I forget how many band EQ that is. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, 12. So it's a 12-band EQ. And then that has 2 outputs. And so then I have like the sort of end stage. So I actually think what it is it's the compressor into the pathos into the Stamen, which is a Drolo box along, the Stretch Weaver and that are the 2 Drolo boxes that I have in here. And then I think that goes into the EQ possibly, or else I'm completely forgetting which stage the EQ is at. But the EQ has 2 outputs from it, and then those feed 2 separate chains from there on out. And so there's actually an A/B switch that will swap between the distortion chains. And so the one side is a big muff and a metal zone. And then the other side is Keeley Aria, which also has compression built in and distortion. And I think that's actually alone as the only dynamic control on that channel. And then those run into the A/B switch, and then the A/B switch runs to a radial Twin City, so I can actually output to multiple amplifiers and things if I want to. So that's the floor pedal, and then I have like this whole table set up with the modular and all the Maris pedals and things. And I feel like I haven't even started to scratch the surface of what all this can all do. So I think this is going to be my setup for quite a while. I don't see any reason to change it because I feel like it has really good dynamic control. I really like having the 12-band EQ in there so I can really shape the tone before it runs into the later parts of the chain. And then like the possibilities with all the Maris stuff and the delays and the Stretch Weaver and all that, it's kind of endless possibilities. But so right now all we're hearing is the Mercury X for some reverb. Everything into the Euro Rack setup, but there's no effects or anything in there as part of that. If I start capturing loops, that's where the loops will be coming from potentially, but I'll specify which one I'm doing. That or the RC300, which is the final end of chain thing. And then, we're just hearing the Mercury X for reverb, and then the Stretch Weaver is just kind of adding some weird warble and stuff because it's just playing off the differences between the 2 channels. It's a stereo reverb, so there is difference between the channels, and so it's playing the left and right off of each other. If you're not familiar with what the Stretch Weaver does, it's an interesting box, but basically there's a left and a right channel that are essentially independent, but they interact depending on which mode you have it set to. I think I have it on the tape mode right now. And that's a new pedal for me. I haven't spent a lot of time with it, so I'm still kind of, I haven't even really read the manual yet or anything. I just kind of set it up, dialed in, found a sweet spot that I liked, and I've kind of left it there for the time being. But I will be returning to it and getting a better feel for everything I can do in the near future. But so I just actually want to check real quick. So that's if I engage the pathos. So the level's pretty low on the pathos. All right, anyway. Yeah, so I have to actually get that kind of gain match with everything else, because that drops the level a little too much. So then, okay, so that's the Stamen. It's kind of a micro looper. So right now it's just, yeah, kind of like that held note because of where I captured the sample. That's the Stamen. So you can, that pedal, and it operates differently depending on which mode you have it in. Right now, it's working as a micro looper, and if I hold, like I can do momentary stuff by just, instead of just punching in and out real quick, if I hold the button to engage it, it'll basically act as a momentary switch, and it'll just hold the whatever was in the buffer until I let go, so I can do stuff like that. Well, that was a bad note start. And I feel like if I overthink it, I don't use it to its best effect. But when I'm just kind of playing and I just engage it wherever it feels right, it tends to sound pretty good. But so actually, where that distortion is coming from right now is actually from the Eurorack rig. So that is clipping at the gain stage for the instrument input. So that's why that's distorting that way. Now what I can do is I can pull that gain down, but then I can bring up the it still sounds a little overdriven somewhere in the chain. I'm not sure where that's coming from. Part of it's how squashed it is from the compressor right now. Now there's a bunch of ways if I wanted to capture any of the guitar stuff that I was doing. One of the things I still need to do that's been on my to-do list for a week or two that I haven't set up yet is I want to run a MIDI channel from the MRCC over to the MIDI input on the RC300 so that everything is timed to what the Cirklon is doing. So if I capture a loop there, it's working in time with whatever the sequence is that's playing on the Cirklon. That way I can record loops, save them as presets in there, and I can restore them later. But the other thing that I could do, I mean, there's a lot of options with this setup here and in this room. The other thing I could do is I could sample the guitar output from this rig here into the S2400, or I could sample it into the modular. And right now the output from the modular is not actually running to the mixer, but it would be, you know, trivial enough to make that happen. But so those are kind of my options for, like, hey, I really like this. This should be part of this song. Let's, you know, include it. But yeah, I'm still kind of working through the best workflow for that as it stands now. I am going to just pause for a moment here. Just want to, I've been kind of doing this and rambling for a bit. I just want to check on the stream, make sure everything's good, see how we're doing. Okay, what we got going on? All right. Hello, my friends. How's it going out there? How's this sounding? Please do engage in the chat. I do appreciate conversation. Now, I haven't been close to the screen to monitor the chat, admittedly. That is probably something I should set up on my phone so I can keep a closer eye on it. Yeah, it is funny. So the other thing that I sometimes like to do then, once I get in and kind of create an alternative sequence to where I was starting, is go back to the existing stuff and see if there's any relationship to them. So if I were to go back to one of the well, actually, let me, before I do that, let's just save out the work scene. Go ahead The other thing I do, in case you're a musician and you work in your own studio, I highly recommend this. I serialize everything with the date. So it goes year, month, day, and then some sort of recognizable title. That way I always know, like, versioning in terms of the point in time when something was created. And so right now, because this is a deviation from the original piece, I'm actually naming the scene with the serialized date so that I have that reference for, like, this was a different day. I wouldn't normally do that because normally the song or project itself would be serialized that way, so I wouldn't need to, but this one has been worked on over different periods of time, so to kind of give myself that reference, I serialize the date. It's just something I find very helpful for returning to material, and it doesn't take a ton of discipline. It's just when you're naming something, just serialize the date in there. Oh, that's not what I want. Let's see. And I just want to save this before I move on so that basically if I make changes, I don't accidentally lose them. Because sometimes switching back to the other scenes and stuff, usually the work scene will remain as it was and I don't have to worry about it. But every now and then I'll make a change somewhere. It'll impact an existing pattern. Or if I, since I hadn't saved these patterns out yet, that can also cause problems. So yeah. So anyway, because right now it's all just in memory. I don't actually know where we're at in the scene list, so I'm just gonna take a guess. Oh, I guess I'm out of characters here. Well, alright, we can do that. It's fine. Alright, so that's saved as a scene now. So now... Oh, actually, let me do one other thing. Well, let's go to that scene. But then, so now I need to adjust the length, because right now it's set up as just one bar, which will not help. Okay. There we go. So... Now, I'm just going to go back to the pre-existing material in here and see how this compares to it, see if it has any relevance. I don't even know if anything's in the same key, whatever. So I'm just going to check in and see if any of this stuff can start being melded together as a singular piece, or if it's all just disparate ideas at this point. So. And also, remember, I changed the bass tone on the Odyssey, so it should be interesting to see where that lands with everything. Oh yeah, that doesn't work as well at all. Oh well, but that's just a filter change, so that shouldn't be a big deal to restore. It sounds terrible for that part. That's hilarious. It sounds like it's dying. So the bass isn't bad for this section, but it's not nearly bright enough for how prominent it should be in the other part. So there's that. That's a problem. That's a very strange transition. Yeah, this definitely has a different feel. I think maybe tonality wise and like the key it's in and stuff. It could be maybe a relationship between this idea and it. Need to check something here real quick. Seems like maybe my internet's being throttled a bit with this stream. Oh. Huh. Okay. Looks like part of the problem is I just let I kind of like let OBS optimize some of the configuration here, and it looks like it has the bitrate set too high for Twitch, so that's part of the problem, so that's not great. Alright, well, live and learn, we will figure these things out. So what I want to do here, alright, okay, that helps me. Let me check something. All right, so it seems like interesting. Now, what happens if I try it here? Forgive my random chat inserts here. I'm trying to see. Okay. All right, so that fixed the OBS chat, but I don't know why. Fair enough. We'll just go with it. I'm okay with that. As long as it's working, that's all I care about. All right, so let's go ahead with this here. Yes, we know. Thank you. All right, one more. Okay, and that all worked. All right. Okay, there we go. So now I can do a better job of monitoring the chat here. But yeah, I see some folks out there, so feel free to say hello. You don't have to be silent. I like knowing where people are watching from. If you're getting anything out of this, if you have any thoughts, suggestions, just let me know. Now, where are we at? So I'm probably going to go up to about the 2-hour mark here. I know I didn't get a ton accomplished. We're at about 1 hour and 36 minutes at the moment. Okay. So I'm going to... Let's see. Let's listen to the other sections here real quick. I just want to see... Also, I mean, part of the intention of this stream is just really getting back into the swing of things and stuff, because it's been a while since I was streaming. Yeah, that bass sounds alright for this. Could use a little more presence. But the Polybrute has enough fuzzy high end to it that it kind of takes over that space. But that, yeah, that there sounds terrible. So, alright, so let's go back. So, if we're looking from here into the thing that I wrote today, oh yeah, no, they're totally different. Okay. I hadn't heard them back to back, so I wasn't really sure. Okay. Looks like I'm gonna have to sort out my bitrate so it's not slamming the feed quite so hard for next time. But yeah, so I'm gonna start doing these as a weekly thing. I'll have a posted schedule once I get it nailed down a little bit better. Right now, so mid-January, I took kind of a big leap, and I actually resigned from the job I was working as a principal engineer, because I was just not enjoying life anymore, and I had enough of a cushion put aside and enough runway that I wanted to take some time and just focus on my projects. So that's what I'm doing. But my projects, there's a lot of variation in them. So I have the electronic music, which is truck. I have like more guitar vocal type music that I haven't been producing in quite a long time, but I want to get back to, because with everything that's going on in the world at the moment, I'm finding that there's a period of time, like life got busy. My daughter was born, and my creative energy was just kind of like between my job, which was really intense, and parenting and things, like my creative energy was pretty sapped, and I just didn't find myself having much to say. But now that my daughter's getting a little bit older, I mean, she's not particularly old, she's only 6, but you know, she's gaining autonomy. You know, the parenting landscape is changing a bit. You know, my engineering job was kind of the main thing in the way for creative output, because I just didn't have time. I was slammed I would wake up every day, because I was overseeing like 9 teams, and most of them were in India. And you know, nothing against the teams I was working with. I enjoyed the individuals on those teams. But there's just something about the way everything was set up that they weren't particularly dedicated to the work they were doing. And they did a lot of like throwing stuff over the wall. And as the person responsible for their output and things, that started to get pretty exhausting. so I took some time off, and I realized towards the end of that time that things were going to have to change pretty drastically at the job for me not to just burn out again immediately when I got back. So, tried to have some conversations, and they didn't really go anywhere. And so I made the call that it was just the time to move on, and I decided that I'm going to focus on my stuff for now. And so it's a bit of a leap. I have runway, but I do a lot of different things. So I have apps that I'm working on getting out the door. There's a couple different music-related apps, but they're more in the realm of like learning scales on the guitar and like ear training and things like that. Basically, tools that I want for myself, and filling in the gaps of like looking at the market of all the tools that exist on that stuff and noticing the things that I feel are missing and building the software that is what I would want, that I feel isn't out there right now. So things like that. I don't think I'm gonna do coding live streams, though. I don't know if those are interesting enough. If they would be, then certainly by all means let me know, and I will find a place to focus that stuff. And maybe they would be, I don't know. But the other things I do is I have a fine art and design background originally. That was, my first life in the world before I was a developer. And I miss painting, and I have a graphic novel that has been half finished for ages. It's actually a series, but just the first book of it isn't even complete. It's called Dream Stairs. And so I'm going to start doing Friday live streams where I'm working on that content. And I might intersperse actual oil painting and digital painting and things like that. But right now I'm just trying to find the format. And then Mondays, and I haven't decided on concrete days for these things, but this is how I'm structuring it currently. Mondays are electronics DIY streams. So I always have something that I'm building, be it modules for the modular or audio tools. It all depends. But the two things that I have in the pipeline right now, the current series of streams is building the Clacktronics modular, build your own modular kit, basically. It's just a really cool project that I wanted to support. Obviously I have a giant modular. I don't need kind of like an entry-level modular, but the way the project is done, I feel like it makes for a good live stream, and I checked with Ben at Clacktronics to make sure he'd be cool with me kind of reading through the content of the book and stuff on the stream, and he is. And so I think that will make for some interesting streams, because there's a lot of good learning content in the kit, and I really like how he structured it, and it's a beautiful book, the way it's all bound and the way the PCBs are laid out in it and stuff. So I have a DIY channel both on YouTube and on Twitch, where I'll be streaming that stuff. So on Twitch it's just truck_DIY, and I'm gonna link to those channels in the profiles of these other channels, or I'll link to a link tree that will have links to those channels, something along those lines. But so by the next stream on Monday, all of those details should be available in the other channels, and then you should be able to find your way pretty easily that way. But so the painting live streams, the digital painting live streams, or whatever you want to call them, those are going to be under accounts that are drifting.lines, so drifting lines. That's just the handle I've used for all my art stuff, like on Instagram and things in the past. So that's where those streams will be. So on YouTube and on Twitch, under Drifting Lines. And then on Wednesdays, today, I'll be doing these sort of composition and or mixing live streams on Twitch. So I have an EP that I'm getting ready to release. It's in the very, very final stages, just finalizing the mix, and then it's going to go off to mastering. I don't think I'm going to stream those mixing sessions just because it's so close to release that I kind of don't want to spoil it, because it's been such a long process to get this particular EP done. It's like 14 minutes of music. It's almost nothing in the scheme of things. Once you hear how complicated it is, you might understand. But there's just been a lot of false starts. I've tried to work with a number of different artists on various aspects of it, and a lot of those things have either resulted in material that didn't work for one reason or another, or just was completely unusable, or just didn't work, like the scheduling and things didn't pan out. So this EP has been in production since basically like early mid 2023. It's been like 3 years to get this stupid thing done, and in the meantime I've been recording other material, and so I have then 2 other albums like kind of backed up after that, and those ones I will probably stream the mixing process, because those are a little bit they're very finished. The composition isn't going to change or anything, but they've had a little less exposure in the world and stuff, and so I feel like those ones are a little bit more novel at this point, and it'd be worth kind of letting people hear it and hear the process and stuff. But thank you for your attention, which is the EP that's getting ready to be released. That I feel like I'm kind of tired of playing it for people and things, so I just want to get it done and get it out. So I'm not going to stream those, but I will be doing a mix of composition streams like today has been. We'll see, preferably a little bit more structured than this was, but same general concept. I think the more I do this and the more I get a format down, I think the idea is going to be to sit down and come out with a song that can be finalized and released. But that's going to take a little bit of gearing up to and just kind of getting the kinks worked out and stuff. So yeah, and I'm just gonna, for the time being, I'm going to set schedules for those 3 different types of streams, and depending on what you're into, if you're into all of it, you can watch all of them. If you're just into the music, you can just watch the Wednesday streams. If you're just into the DIY, that sort of thing. I try to split it out, because otherwise I have so many interests and so many things that I do that it can be a little schizophrenic if you put it all in one place. Like, I know Andrew Huang has talked about this a lot with his music output, where he feels like he's basically alienated people that would otherwise be fans by just being so genre inspecific, like just jumping around so much and things. And I'm guilty of the same thing in my earlier days, and I decided that I didn't like it. I felt like I didn't want to be confusing my audience that way all the time, and so long before I ever heard Andrew Huang say those things, I had made the decision for myself that I wanted to just parcel it out. And so they're all different projects and they all run parallel, but the thing it does tend to do that is a little difficult is it reduces the amount of time that I have for each thing, because they're all running in parallel and I'm doing all of them at the same time, and so I'm it's like this juggling thing. So that's the reason for the continuous schedule and the slots, but kind of doing them all separately, because that keeps me moving forward on each endeavor without collapsing into one of them for so long that the other ones get neglected and things like that. But yeah, so it's a little bit to balance, and we'll see. Like, if one thing just takes off way more than any of the others, then I'll do that. And so then the intervening days are the days for YouTube content, filming, editing, and coding, development work. So it's, I'm just kind of building myself a schedule out of these different pursuits and just putting as much time as I possibly can every day into it, and we'll see how this goes moving forward. But I'm enjoying myself. I feel better than I've felt in ages. I freelanced for a long time in the past, and I was really missing those days, because even though I wasn't working for myself, I was at least, I could take a contract with a known duration. I could, put a chunk of money aside and then just take some time off and focus on my things. And I had a tendency to work like that a lot. So once I was with a steady employer for a long time, I had worked for this previous company for almost a decade. That blew all of that out of the water. Like I couldn't take that approach anymore. So yeah. So this is all kind of a new path. It's a weird time to be doing something like this. I mean, the world is in turmoil. I am very sad about the state of affairs here in the US. I try not to go too political in these streams, but the worse things get out there, the more I feel I need to speak up. So you might hear me rant sometimes, because I'm not okay with it. Let's just put it that way. And I believe very, very strongly in the equality of people, regardless of, color of skin or gender identity or sexual preferences or any of those basic sort of life things. I feel like those are just givens, that they should not be called into question, and no one should be living with fear because of either something that they're born into, like their complexion and things like that, or preferences. And I just having a military outfit basically going after people for those types of traits is deplorable in my opinion, and I'm not okay with it, and I'm going to do everything in my power to see it change, but peacefully. I don't think violence is the answer in these situations, but I think people are standing up to it, and I think we're in a place where we just really need to rebuild community. And I think that's incredibly important, more now than ever, and I think we've lost that. I think the digital world has led to a lot of splintering and separation and a lot of just general distancing of people, and then obviously COVID and all of that didn't help, and we're in a strange place now, and I think we need to continue to rebuild. I think after COVID, people saw the need for in-person contact and things, but it's been kind of all over the place, and I don't think we've consistently reestablished that sort of thing, and just the way the economies have changed as a result of all of that, it has made some of that very difficult to continue or move forward with, especially like venue spaces and things of that nature. So there's a lot of complex problems out there, but I think music helps all of it. Honestly, I think music is a very community-oriented and community-driven outlet, and I think it's a beautiful thing, and I think we can come together through music, and that's kind of where I'm at with all of it. Like, there was a period of time where I was feeling a little guilty for putting so much time and energy into stuff like this right now. But then I came to that conclusion that, we need it. We really need it. But it can't just happen in a vacuum. It can't just be, me alone in a room with myself and no one else. It needs to be community. And so hence bringing back the live streams. wanting to build something out of this, and just in general returning to the world a bit, because I was admittedly sort of in hiding, other than my work and my family obligations. I wasn't really socializing. I was just very pulled back, because it's the sort of thing where it's like I was finding the news overwhelming, all that sort of thing. So but turns out hiding doesn't really help, and so I'm making an effort to get back out there and reconnect with everyone. So on that note, I really appreciate your time. I appreciate you watching today. I know we didn't really build much. I just want to see where we're at time-wise. Yeah, that's what I thought. We're like 3 minutes to the 2-hour mark. So I think I'm going to play us out for a little bit here. Just do some guitar improv and maybe try to come up with some loops that I can store and sort of return to revisit this thing here. It's not really the outcome I was intending today. I was really hoping to take some of the existing pieces and work through it, but honestly I like this sequence better than any of the stuff I started out with, so it feels worth developing. Boy, I need an extension for these headphones. It's a little awkward once you're halfway across the room. Alright, so this sequence is so long that it doesn't have it doesn't have a super clear start and end. Whoops. Boy, I really do love having the extended range of these 8 strings. I say these 8 strings, I don't mean like the 8 strings on this guitar. I have 2 of these Abasi concept guitars at this point. Because I bought this Loretta, can't remember how he pronounces it. I think it's Loretta. So I bought this Loretta and loved it. And then got super curious about the Emmy because it has a different pickup configuration and stuff, and bought one of those as well. That's over at the house though. But yeah, just having the extended range is so good. I don't play metal much these days. I used to more, but even for the kind of stuff that I do play, it's cool. Can you hear that weird sort of delayed pitching thing that's going on? That's the stretch weaver. Like if I turn it off, back on. Whoops. Oh, well, all right. It's going to be out of time because I hit the... All right, I'm going to try one more time, see if I can get that in time. Now this is not at all synced to everything else that's going on, so it could drift over time. It might end up phasing with the rest of the music, and that might be cool, it might sound terrible, it's hard to say. That's a bit of a mess. I wish I wouldn't have done that last part, but that's right. I have this thing where I'll play a part and it'll sound totally workable, and then I go to record it and I mess it up almost every time. But it is what it is, you know. All right. I think we're at time. Very much appreciate your time. Thanks for spending the time with me, even though you were silent. Please do feel free to interact. It does really enliven the stream to have conversation and such. I always have like a handful of silent people out there watching. I don't know what that's about. I don't know why no one engages, but I still appreciate you, even if you don't talk. All right. Well, really sad about the bass part that I added on that one, because it worked until I did that. It's okay. Yeah, so I think that's all for today. But we got one in on the books, which is all I was really trying to do today. I really wanted to just get back into the swing of things. So, roughly same bat time, same bat channel next week. Definitely same bat channel. Roughly same bat time. We'll see. Am I dating myself? Is that reference just like way too ancient for anyone to even get? The old Batman shows. Same bat time, same bat channel. Anyway, yeah. Cool. It's been good. Even if I didn't walk out with a song like I had hoped, but I feel good regardless. I hope you feel good too. Thanks for spending your time with me. Whatever to call it. Love y'all. See you next week. Or sooner if you join one of the other streams. I look forward to it. Bye-bye.